All right, major bounce in the markets, folks, for stocks, Bitcoin, crypto, everything's up. What is causing this? What is causing this? In fact, everything is near its all-time highs, except Bitcoin. And you got to ask yourself, why do you think Bitcoin has collapsed like 36%? Whilst everything else is near its all-time highs. Don't believe me? Have a look. This is SP 500. Look at this. Wow, it's just getting rejected at this trend line here. If we can confirm, right, in the next day or two, weekly close above here, then boom, up we go again. The NASDAQ looks even more, right, like a bull flag. So basically, flagpole, this is the flag, right, bull flag, and break up we go. If we can confirm, again, like somewhere here on Friday, that's where we're headed. NASDAQ as well, and for folks who are wondering why to talk about this, it's because up till now, Bitcoin has basically followed the path of the NASDAQ 100. And if the NASDAQ 100 were to continue higher, which I think it should, then if they keep on pumping out good news, by the way, I'm going to explain what the good news is today. That's making the markets quite excited. It's something I've been predicting all this time, and now we're about to get it, finally. It hasn't been officially confirmed, but there's lots of rumors. The betting markets are reacting to it already. I'll say it again. The betting markets are reacting to it already, right? The poly market, Kalshi, those guys. So the situation is, I thought we would get to wave 5, which is Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around this. I said 670 to 700 area. We top, right? So far, it looks like we could even beat that. I'll tell you guys why. And this is going to be an amazing 12-month coming up in the United States because the way Trump's playing this, right? Nothing stops this train, folks. Nothing stops this train. What news am I talking about? Basically, rumors have leaked from the White House that, first of all, Trump is going to name a new Federal Reserve chairman by before Christmas. And he's going to name a guy that everyone says is going to pump the markets. He's naming a guy called Kevin Hassett. This is one betting website, has his probability of 57%. Everyone else is like in the 10 or in the below or in the teens. Even Scott Besson is there, so he's definitely not going to get picked. Waller at 18%. Waller is also a dove on the Federal Reserve board right now, which means he wants to cut rates. So let's look at poly market. What does the odds say for poly market? Well, poly market says Kevin Hassett 1/3 chance, 46% chance we don't get a result by this year, and we get one in say January or something, right? And I think the way this is going right now, Trump would want to announce early because that would put pressure on all the other board members, because like I said before, you want the new chairman of the Federal Reserve to put lots of pressure on the board members, because they're going to stop listening to Jerome Powell, who's the outgoing Fed chair. He's going to be gone by May. Who would want to listen to him? You want to listen to the new guy. So basically, you have a new leader in there. Unless Trump is 100%, like 80%, 90% sure that they're going to cut rates in the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates in December, and therefore he doesn't need to hurry. So one way to look at it is say 85% probability now of a rate cut. So Trump, you might say Trump, 85% now might be sitting comfortable. What is the deal with this Kevin Bassett guy? Now, by the way, my trade in ETH is kind of working out well. Wish I got a little lower. Got in around low 2700s, as I've been saying. So far, we're in a decent profit, right? It's a bit of a small trade, even smaller for my Bitcoin position, right? So wasn't too sure about this bounce. As you know, the market has just been going down only lately. So, but I thought when people are reaching max fear, I better step in with a position. Not too bad. As you guys know, I trade on this Bitunix. My link is in the for the special deals. Link is in the description below. Okay, so I asked, has there ever been a Fed chairman was appointed who never worked at the Fed before. It's only happened twice in history. This Mueller guy happened in the 70s. He was only there for 1 year, right? Only for 1 year. And then Alan Greenspan, of course, the very famous Fed chair, was basically economist and had a consulting career, right? That's why he blew up the bubble and created the GFC in 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009, right? Thanks to Alan Greenspan. No experience working at the Fed. Now, does Kevin Hassett have any experience working at the Fed? So the new guy Trump is naming basically never worked at the Fed as a governor or as a Fed voter. He's not promoting from within the Fed. Technically, Kevin Hassett, the new Federal Reserve chairman, did work as an economist, like a low-level staff, working at the Federal Reserve as one of the 200 or 3,000 guys working there as an economist researcher 33 years ago, sorry. So it's not a very serious pick. The reason why Trump picked him is because he's the White House senior advisor, right? So it's kind of like the situation that Trump's doing with what's his name right now, with the Steve Moran right now. You know how on the Federal Reserve Board, there's always one guy who keeps on calling for 50 basis rate cuts, 50-point cuts every meeting, right? Now, before we get to how that impacts the markets, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo Jimenez use? Now, Pablo uses this exchange that's non-KYC. That means the exchange can't even see who you are. So that means the IRS can't see you, the tax office can't see you, the exchange can't see who you are, the FBI, CIA, nobody can see you, total privacy. That's why Pablo made this deal with them, right, using the Pablo link only, right? It says for first-time depositors and first trades, great rewards, great bonuses. But for old members, just go using a different email and register again. You get those first deposit bonuses and first trade bonuses again. Because as I said, the exchange can't even see who you are. The exchange can't see who you are, right? So for first time depositors, get 20% on $100 deposit, $200 and $1,000 deposit. You get the idea. And for first trade, get anywhere between up to $10 to 500 USDT futures bonus. Okay. So, limited time only, folks. This deal finishes on December the 5th. December the 5th. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, then the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. But if you're watching on any other platform, such as this one, that's okay. Just click on my profile page, and then there is my link tree or stand link. We click on that, and it should be the first deal that pops up because this is a great deal. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. And just remember, this deal is only available on the Pablo Jimenez link. Only on the Pablo Jimenez link. Okay, so the situation I was talking about was this. Essentially, if SPY was to go up from here, and one thing I just got to point out is silver is actually near all-time highs again as well. Silver, cup and handle, right? It could look really amazing for silver. For folks who've been following me, I've been talking about silver since it was around the 20s. I mean, these were wild swings. I mean, I was accumulating here, and when it drops like this, if you're putting like a large percentage of your net worth, like 5-10% of your net worth, you're like, whoa, even for experienced investors. But then it's done well. Okay, so the thing about this Kevin Hassett guy that Trump has just named is that he's basically more known as a White House economic advisor. And his whole shtick is that he wants to basically cut interest rates. He wants to be bullish. And he wrote a book called Dow Jones 36,000, when Dow Jones was only like at $8,000, 8,000 points. So he wanted the Dow Jones, which is one of the most boring US indexes in the world, to do a 4x, to do a 4.5x, right? So like, it's just, these are not serious people. These are people with no real experience at the Federal Reserve. These people, he even wanted Scott Bessent, who's the treasurer, to become the Federal Reserve chair. Like I said, he basically just, Trump wants to pump the markets because he's got the midterm elections coming up and he wants to pump the markets I've told you guys this. So there's a good chance that the US market can run for the next 6 to 12 months. It's possible. If that happens, continues to run, why would Bitcoin still be down here, right? If the new Fed chairman comes in, cuts rates more often than not, right? Not necessarily every meeting, but cuts rates more often than not, and basically does QE more aggressively than what we're used to from 2019, and why would the markets not go up? So let's have a look at Bitcoin, for example. My original call was we get a bounce to around 92K, right? At most 94K, and we turn down, right? If it breaks up, then great. I'd be happy. I would be very happy. But I'm looking for a pullback and a bottoming process around here. So basically bounce, maybe double bottom, maybe triple bottom with a higher bottom. I do think we revisit the 80K area. As much as I don't want to see that happen, I do think we get a revisit to 80K area.